for violating its policies around dangerous individuals, their parent company Meta has said. If you're going out to face the world, yeah, you gotta have a fucking shower.
Tell me where these motherfuckers are at.
Oh, we got one.
Who?
Bill Cosby.
The alternative to being an Andrew Tate fan is to be a normal person. No need to counterweight it. You have got no idea what you're talking about. You haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. You're a fucking idiot. What is this? Controversial influencer Andrew Tate banned from Facebook and Instagram. So I saw this being spoken about, but I don't know anything about it. So I'm going in a little bit blind on this one, to be honest. The decision has been hailed by a number of campaign groups which claim Mr. Tate poses a genuine threat to young people. Oh, man, I really don't think that you can make... I hate this, like, oh, this person's a threat, we need to ban them. I just think this is such a big mistake. And it's, you know, it just emboldens, like, some of the stuff they say. They can really pull, you know, like, oh, yeah, well, I've been banned. I must be saying something they're afraid of and stuff like that. Like, I think there's maybe some limits on this, potentially, that we could maybe talk about. But I don't know if the stuff that Andrew Tate is saying is enough that we need to, you know, mobilize to get him removed from platforms. Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me, right? Is people seem to just like it because it's someone they don't like that it's happening to. But then when a big tech platform messes with a creator they do like, they're like up in arms on Twitter, and it's like, well, like, do you like, what is the deal here? Are we literally just doing the, well, if it happens to someone that I don't like, I'm for it, but if it happens to someone I do like, I'm against it? That just seems like such a pointless view to have. What's the point in having an opinion if it's just flexible and changeable, dependent on whether you like the person it's happening to or not? Controversial influencer Andrew Tate has been banned from Facebook and Instagram for violating its policies around dangerous individuals, their parent company Meta has said. What is this policy about dangerous individuals? Individuals policy. The other problem with this as well is the fact that it's off both Facebook and Instagram. The fact that you know, I just saw the Fortnite thing go up. The fact that you've got, like, essentially two big social media platforms you're getting banned from because they happen to be owned by one person. That's kind of troubling as well, you know? That's kind of troubling too. Now, of course, there are other options available out there, but as we've seen, sometimes, it's not happened in this case, but sometimes these platforms can mobilize to such a level that you get these crazy cross-platform bans across the board. The kickboxer rose to fame in 2016. Adin removed the program after a video surfaced online when he appeared to show him attacking a woman with a belt. Okay, I don't want to defend Andrew Tate here. Okay, listen. Why do they write these in such a way that I feel I've got to defend Andrew Tate? I thought that was like a kink thing. I thought the woman. I don't think it was like he just randomly attacked her. I'm pretty sure that it was like a consensual, non-consent or like kink thing, wasn't it? Right? So it just feels a bit dishonest to, like, why can't they just present an honest image of what's going on? And the other problem you've got is if they do say stuff like this, which is like true on the face of it, but in the worst possible light, and it's expressed in the worst possible light. The issue I've got with this is it just ends up eroding trust in, like, the mainstream media as well. And I think that's a problem too. Obviously, this is just one website. It was actually Sky, which actually is kind of centre-right in the UK. It's not like the Australian one. But I just think that it starts to erode trust in the mainstream media too. And this happened big time with the Rittenhouse case. And I think, like, yes, of course, we can be critical of some of the nut jobs and some of the shit that happens, you know, on the far right and whatever. But I think the media needs to do its best possible job to present things as honestly as it can, because otherwise it is helping to perpetuate the issue of a losing of trust, and then people going to other news sources, and then before you know it, they think that Biden's like a demonic, possessor of children or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is they think. Anyway, he claimed the clip had been edited. Since then, he has gained further notoriety online for his outrageous and offensive comments, including some in which he suggested women bear some responsibility for being assaulted. Jesus. Before his Instagram account was removed, he racked up more than 4 million followers. This is funny, though. The multimillionaire also runs an online pyramid scheme called Hustlers University, which claims to teach people how to make money. I mean, it is basically a pyramid scheme, right? Does anyone disagree with that? Clips of and about Mr. Tate have also become popular on both YouTube and TikTok. Videos using a hashtag of his name have been viewed 13 billion times. He does not have a TikTok account, with the spokesperson saying misogyny is a hateful ideology that is not tolerated on TikTok. Okay. We've been removing violative videos and accounts for weeks. Tate poses a genuine threat. So this is the fucking cucked shit, right? Oh my... Man, hope not hate, just... Oh, man. Important thread here from Joe Mulhole on why we have been calling on social media companies to take action against Andrew Tate, and why it's important that Twitter, Facebook, and Insta have moved quickly to do so. God, I'm getting flashbang left, right, and centre. Stop Andrew Tate from spreading hate. So this is the thing, right? I do think there's a genuine issue with like younger people consuming Andrew Tate's content, because, you know, like it's not for kids, right? Like if you know, older people want to go and listen to Andrew Tate talk some bullshit, that's fine. But I think that, like I was watching, it was only a TikTok. I don't have any evidence or anything for this. Obviously, it's just fucking, you know, anecdote Andy shit. But there was someone that was talking about how in their classroom, this is like I think prepubescent children, like 8 or 9, maybe 10 or 11. I can't remember the age. But basically, apparently they were speaking like Andrew Tate, and they were like talking some shit about women and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I really hate this kind of like dropping the hammer on people. I just don't think it's the right way to deal with it. I've got a big aversion to this, and groups like Hope Not Hate. I just hate this kind of like, excuse me, hall monitor, you know, hall monitor, I'm a hall monitor, and I'm going to tell you not to do this, not to do that. It just feels very much like kind of tattletale shit. I don't know, it's weird. I don't like it. And I think that the problem we've got is these, hey, thank you for the sub, is these people. It's like, rather than come up with a substantive argument and a rebuttal to kind of what he's saying, they're kind of just going, we'll just silence him. We'll just take him off of these platforms. And I just think, well, no, why don't you invest some time into actually presenting an alternative to his point of view? Like, I can somewhat understand the Hope Not Hate stuff when it comes to like super far right shit. Like, I don't necessarily always agree with the deplatforming stuff, but I can at least understand somewhat a bit of the logic behind it. But this just seems crazy to me. This just seems like, you know, it just comes across like, oh well, he's so dangerous, and it's like, well, yeah, but if you've actually got like a substantive rebuttal or like something to criticize or disagree, I think that's going to do far better than just banning him. You know. They use the platform as hustle students to share extremist misogynistic views about men owning women, and is spreading conspiracy theories about a new world order to a whole new audience of young men. Yeah, I don't necessarily have an answer. This is difficult and tricky, but I have just got a very strong aversion to this instantaneous desire to just get a hammer and just smash their presence to bits. I just feel like it's the wrong way to go about it, you know? And the reality is that companies obviously have got no obligation to keep anyone on their platform, really, and they can ban you for anything, essentially. So when people wield social power to put pressure on companies to get rid of people, like, yeah, like what are they losing? For if you're a social media company and you've got a group called Hope Not Hate coming to you saying you've got a hateful person on your platform, we want you to get rid of them, and look at all these other people that agree with us, like, what's the company going to do? No, it's not. It's just a day. It's just a day. You know, it's troubling. It's troubling. Anyway, so this looks like Meta's policy on dangerous individuals. So let's have a look and see if there's like what we think about it, you know. In an effort to prevent and disrupt real world harm, we do not allow organizations or individuals that proclaim a violent mission or are engaged in violence to have a presence on Facebook. We assess these entities based on behavior on and offline, most significantly their ties to violence. Under this policy, we designate individuals and so on. Designations run into 3 tiers that indicate the level of content enforcement. So tier 1 focuses on entities that engage in serious offline harms, including organizing or advocating for bad things, basically. Okay. Focus on entities that engage in violence against state or military actors but do not generally target civilians. Tier 3, focus on entities that may repeatedly engage in violations of our hate speech or dangerous organization policies on or off the platform and demonstrate strong intent to engage in offline violence in the near future. I'm guessing this is what they're talking about. But this seems more to do with like ISIS. Like this sounds more like an ISIS kind of vibe that they're looking at, you know? Rather than, you know, I mean, yeah, look. They're literally talking about ISIS stuff here. Do you know what I mean? Like this seems more like terrorism type levels. Not Andrew Tate, but I mean, this I think is what he's been banned for. But on what basis, I guess, is what I would ask. Unless there's more here. Hate organizations, criminal organizations, hateful ideologies, talking about the big ones there. Okay, maybe it's here. Militarized social movements, violence-inducing conspiracy networks, and hate-banned entities. Yeah, I mean, this just kind of strikes me as like a far right, super far right stuff, right? Andrew Tate is still, yeah, I know he is, sure, but I guess what I don't understand is even if that turns out to be true, would that mean he gets taken off the platform? Super far right is Andrew Tate. I don't think Andrew Tate is super far right, no. Do you think he's super far right? That seems excessive to me. What has he said that you think puts him in the category of super far right? I think he's like, yeah, he's just like a right wing, you know, misogyny vibes type event. I don't know. His economic stances. What about what what about his economic stances are super far right? He's on the right, sure. Like, is it possible that we can call him bad without calling him? I mean, maybe if you can show me, oh yeah, look, he said this. You know, he called for the unification of like industry under state power or something. I don't know. Maybe if he's got something like that going on, we can go, oh yeah, maybe you're right. Is there any videos about this we can watch? Actually, I want to see, what did Facebook say about it? So Meta, Andrew Tate ban. So look, this is kind of telling. Meta said it had removed the kickboxing star from its platform for violating its policies on dangerous organizations or individuals, but did not provide further details. So that's this policy we were just looking at, right? Now, I've not read it word for word, admittedly, but it strikes me that it seems to be this is looking at things that are more extremist than Andrew Tate was. Now, if there's a video of Andrew Tate saying some weird, you know, far right stuff that I'm not aware of, then by all means let me know. But the way I'm looking at it, I just don't really see what he would have said or done to fall foul of this policy. I've watched one episode of his course, and it just seemed like, you know, idiot e-commerce kind of memes. It didn't seem to be like, oh yes, we need to have a strong, you know, fascist element in the government or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is talking about narcotics kingpins, terrorist organizations, global terrorists. This doesn't seem relevant to what he's talking about. So it seems to be this is kind of what it would. This is what it would be under. Listen, I'm just going to say what I'm thinking. Okay, I think that Facebook wanted to remove him, didn't really have a good reason to. So what they've done is they've done it on the basis of this policy, and they've kind of just pointed to it and gone, oh well, there's that policy we've got. And the fact that they haven't really seemingly given much more information to me is fairly telling. Now, you know, obviously, if Facebook come out and they can provide evidence of how he's broken this policy, right, I would be all up for that. And I'd be, okay, fair enough. They've demonstrated where he's broken the TOS, and I'll accept that, you know. But I'm really concerned that these companies can just point to some generic kind of TOS that seems to be about terrorists and go, well, that's why we banned him. And it's like, this is talking about terrorists. Like, what you want about? You know, if there's a tweet, if there's a Facebook post or an Instagram post, and he's like, oh yeah, ISIS is based actually, or whatever. Yeah. Oh, you know, and it's a serious thing. It's not a meme. I'll be like, Jesus, yeah, no, I can see why maybe they had to remove him. But at the moment, it just seems a bit flimsy, and I don't really think this is something like, if you just want to celebrate it, okay. If you just want to celebrate it because it's someone you don't like, that's fine. But I think it's probably better to just take a step back from our points of view and just go, okay, well, why is it exactly they've been banned? Because to me, like, big tech bans are kind of a bit scary. I mean, maybe it's just I'm biased because I can be caught by this myself. But I just think that we should be critical of stuff like this and not necessarily just jump on that, oh, yeah, he's banned. It's like, well, what was he banned for? Okay, can you substantiate the reason for that ban? Like, there should be more transparency from the company. Like, do you remember when Donald Trump was banned, Twitter actually did lay out, whether you agreed or disagreed with it, I thought it was fairly compelling. But Twitter laid out exactly what had got Trump banned, and I thought that was really good. You know, I thought that was like good. That's a good standard to set. So I think if someone prominent gets banned like this, I think companies there should be some sort of onus on them to explain why. I don't like this fact they can just yeet someone and that's it. Oh yeah, well they broke that policy, right? That's it. No more questions. You know. And I don't like what because the thing is, if they're transparent and they can give a good reason for banning someone, I think that would potentially. And the thing is, it would kind of help out like, if you want to argue that Andrew Tate was banned for a good reason, transparency would only help you. Because the thing is, if you've got the company laying out where they broke the rules, and you can point to that and go, look, like with Donald Trump, Twitter laid out here the reasons, you've at least got some grounding to make an argument or a point about it, about the logic behind it. But now you've really just got like, well, they banned him and they said it was for these policies. Like, I'm looking at this, okay, and I'm you know, I'm not like super hardcore, like, oh yeah, it was great he was banned. I'm not like, you know, pro Andrew Tate. I'm just looking at this thinking, how could you justify banning Andrew Tate based on my knowledge of his rhetoric and what he spoke about based on these rules? And although I am skimming over them and not looking in detail, I'm kind of struggling to see, you know, where is it he's broken the rules then? What did this say here? What's this analysis from the BBC? This chat supports censorship. We've got a mixed chat of various different perspectives. Some people are probably supportive of this. Other people are not supportive. I operate a very free speech, come one, come all kind of approach as best I can. So, you know, there's going to be some people that like this, some people that don't like it. That's what you got to deal with. It's not nefarious to not want to deal with someone's nonsense. On an individual level, sure, but we're not talking about on a one-on-one basis, right? Like, if you don't want to watch Andrew Tate's content, right, you can not engage with it, and that's fine. I think that, you know, you can even push back and criticize it, whatever, if you want, right? But I think the idea that this company can come in, point to some rules which no one really understands probably, from outside of Facebook, and go, you know, how many people, okay, let me ask you this. They said that they removed the kickboxing staff from its platforms for violating its policies on dangerous organizations and individuals, but did not provide further details. How many people are going to actually bring up Meta's policy and look at it and actually go into detail with it? Versus how many people are just going to go, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds legit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not good enough. It's nowhere near good enough. This is nowhere near transparent enough. And even if you agree with it, you should also be calling for transparency. Hey! Thanks for the raid, Loner Box. Even if you agree with it, transparency would only benefit your argument. Because if Facebook or Meta is able to lay out why he was banned, that's going to strengthen your position when you're having an argument with someone about it. Because you can say, well, Facebook released a specific post that broke the rules. You've got this post that broke this rule, okay? One of the reasons that they have TOS is you've got to follow it, and he didn't, so he got kicked off. That's going to strengthen your argument and strengthen your position. So the only reason transparency would hinder you is if Facebook have actually just fucking done it for no reason and are just pointing to the policy, okay? So, you know, I think that the best thing for everyone is to have transparency, and then we can see where the cards lie. None of our business. I disagree. It is our business. Do you understand how much power these companies have over like social discourse these days? It is all of our business. And absolutely, these companies should be transparent to us, okay? We are their customers, right? And we are entitled to some, you know, level of insight into big moderation decisions that they make. I think that that's perfectly reasonable. I'm not talking about fucking, you know, like some random racist account that just posts the N-word gets banned. That doesn't matter. I'm talking about big moderation decisions where there isn't a seemingly a clear reason why. Okay, well, let's see what they say here. Andrew Tate's videos promoting misogyny and targeting women have come to prominence this summer, with many teens commenting on just how much he's appearing on their social feeds. His content has raised concerns about the real-world effect it could have, especially on younger users exposed to it during their school holidays while they have time on their hands. I mean, this is compelling, and I agree with this. I agree that this is like a troubling thing. I think of my boys watching Andrew Tate, say 5, in a few years' time, they're like 8, 9, 10. That would be bad for them. You know, there's some stuff that just isn't for kids. And I don't think Andrew Tate's messaging is for kids. The focus has been primarily on TikTok, where users say they've been readily served up as videos, sparking a new wave of videos commenting on and criticizing Mr. Tate's content. See, that to me is how it should be working. It's, you see the videos, you're like, damn, this guy's talking absolute nonsense. And then you make a response and you talk about the issues with his views and the mistakes he's making and the things he's stating, you know? YouTube has also found itself under pressure since it's where he racked up millions of views. Like, I think even Supreme came round on the idea that Hassan actually did at least an okay job with Andrew Tate, right? What do you think is a better thing to see? Is it Hassan, like, memeing on him a bit and pushing back against his points or whatever? Or do you think it's a news article, Andrew Tate banned from social media? Like, what is going to be a better impression on someone if you're concerned with, like, combating the things that Andrew Tate is saying? Do you see what I mean? Like, to me, I just think that's a much stronger impression than just, oh, he's a harmful person, we got to get rid of him. And that's why these hope not hate kind of groups I find really frustrating, because whilst I think that there is a place for pointing out stuff, I just think this focus on putting pressure on companies to get rid of people is bad. And it's like they recognize that they do have this social power, and they use it like a fucking hammer. It's infuriating sometimes. But that's not true, Sparkly Crow. Some of his fans, it was literally, there's no fucking studies for this, right? There were some Reddit polls that I got sent that Supreme saw as well, and you know, they seemed to suggest that they thought that Hassan did an okay job, and Tate looked weak because of the fact he was trying to get him off the call. I revealed our social media sites from anti-women hate for BBC Panorama. The investigation exposed how some platforms' algorithms were recommending more and more misogyny to a troll account. Do you know what's going to happen? Okay, I can see it already, right? Do you know what's going to happen? Possibly. I don't like making predictions about the future because there's so many variables. I can see a world where Andrew Tate gets banned from all the platforms and then he ends up on Cozy TV. Like, and then it's even worse. And then it's even worse. Abba and Preach, let's see what they got to say.
Today's topic, Andrew Tate's banned from Facebook and Instagram. He's a genuine threat to young men. He has drawn criticism from online comments, particularly from UK advocacy group Hope Not Hate, which welcomed the most recent ban. We welcomes Meta's shift action to remove Andrew Tate, and we would put pressure on TikTok to follow this example. They must act now to prevent further spread of these extremist views. He's banned from Instagram, Facebook, and very likely he's going to be banned from other places. So first off, I don't think this ban matters at all. I don't think it matters at all because I think their attempt is to like stop this person who in their eyes is like spreading misogyny. Even if that's how you view him and that's what you think he's doing, you haven't stopped whatever the movement he's coming from is. He's just a figurehead, just a face. The issues between men and women, this gender-related war that exists in our society still goes on. There's going to be somebody else who comes in his place, and that stuff will never change. The second reason why it doesn't matter is that he doesn't even spread his own videos. He doesn't have a YouTube channel where he's spreading all this stuff. He doesn't have a TikTok channel where he's spreading stuff. It's random people who are spreading this stuff.
Who's posting this thing?
They're posting it. They're taking clips. They're posting it everywhere. They're getting interviews. Like, unless you ban all mention of this man, it is impossible to stop it.
But the minute that...
So they're going to be in every comment section, reposting it on every channel, going, comment Tate W, and guess what? You can't stop it unless you ban all mention of it beyond how dislikable he is. All right, let's take ourselves out of, we hate this dude, okay? Or you hate this dude, or whoever hates this dude. I don't care. Think about what matters in this, which is all the young folks who gravitated towards his message? Were they all somebody who were put under a spell? Or were there a lot of societal issues that existed that created the perfect melting pot for someone like this to come to prominence? Whether you like it or not, be it Fresh and Fit, any of these red pill dudes, whatever you want to choose, what is it that makes people get drawn to them? And this is what I've been saying for a long time. When I did the other video, I'm like, listen, red pill for me, but I understand why it's necessary.
Yeah.
Right? You can hate these movements, you can be against them, but until you deal with the underlying societal problems that lead to these movements, everything else is just putting a band-aid on an infected wound.
Yeah. That's really true. And I think that, like, you know, this, like, people aren't, like, born misogynists, right? Like, people aren't born with these views. They aren't born with the Andrew Tateisms. It's something that's out there, and some people seek it out, you know, and that's it. They watch Andrew Tate and something connects with them because of some experience in their life. I was, and that's it. Like they're on that train and off they go, you know. And yeah, I think that there is definitely an underlying issue there that needs to be kind of dealt with and addressed. And you don't have to get into like fucking cringe men's rights territory, but you can also recognize that, yeah, there is some shit that people, you know, sometimes one of the biggest mistakes that like the liberals and the left and whatever made over the, you know, like 2016 era times was that there wasn't ever any room to meaningfully discuss the issues that you know, men faced. It was always an addendum to like women's issues. Like, for example, you know, you might say something about some issue that you face as a man in society, and it was, well, feminism solves that, feminism solves that, feminism solves that. And it's like, okay, that sounds great, but it just feels like then it becomes an addendum to like women's issues, you know? And there was like like I don't know. It just seemed like such a big mistake looking back now that there was just no space to really say, and you were shouted down, you know, and you were like criticized and fucking no, you can't do that. Even today, it's better, but like even today, if I did a stream and I said, okay, guys, I'm going to talk a bit about some of the shit that I deal with in society as a man, right? I would get fucking cringe fucking soys in chat going, oh, what about women? What about women? Yeah, I'm happy to fucking accept and discuss the multitude of issues that women face in society. But today, this is about men, okay? Like, fuck off, okay? I want to speak on my lived experience for a little bit. Is that allowed or not? I thought that was what we're all about, you know? And I just think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with having an expression of, hey, this is some shit that I face that's a bit tough. Like, you know, I just want to talk about it a bit. And everyone could do that. Everyone can talk about it, you know. And of course, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about it, right? This is I learned a lot about the issues that women faced by listening to women talking about it, right? And like speaking to my ex about some of the stuff she's faced, and you know, her experiences in the workplace. Like it really gives you a visibility and a thought process on fuck. Like, yeah, this shit's pretty fucked. Like, women have got some genuine issues that they do face in society, you know? And I feel like by listening to it, you can understand, and it allows you to kind of have a better outlook on the world and, you know, push for whatever change is required, or talk about it or whatever. You know, the stuff that I've heard from women about a woman's experience in the world is going to have an impact on like how I talk to my daughter about things. And how I guide my daughter through the world, and the things I say to her and the advice that I give her. And that's invaluable stuff that I've learned by like listening to women talk about their problems, you know? And on the other side of it, I think that can work both ways too. Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, a woman could learn from a man some of the shit that men face in the world. And then if you've got a son, you can engage in a way that takes that into account. And it's like a very multifaceted, you know, broad approach to this stuff. But people are happy to do the one but not the other. And this is why the red pill movements are so fucking strong and right wing and all this stuff, right? Because one side of that conversation has just been essentially cut off by like the left, and you look over to the right, and the right are like, hey guys, oh, the feminists don't want you to talk about your problems. Well, come over here, right? By the way, you need to start fucking hating and shitting on women all the time, you know? And it's like, yeah, no, of course. And it's like, no, that's not right. Basically, the right have had like, you know, the lion's share of this fucking red pill shit, because in some ways they've been pushed in that direction, even from people on the left who didn't make space for some of those conversations. And the trouble is, the red pillars, they have got some prescriptions which make sense and actually do work, but they wrap it up in a lot of shit that doesn't work. You know, some of their observations are true, or there's a truth in it, but they wrap it up in solutions that aren't really going to fix that issue. So what they'll do is they'll say, right, guys, you're looking to get a job, you're looking to get ahead, you're looking to meet a woman, okay? Like, this is what you need to do. You need to work out and get fit. You need to get a haircut, right? And you need to treat women like absolute shit, okay? And it's like the first two, that's what's getting you the success, because if you're in shape, if you look good, you're going to feel confident, and it's going to influence your entire fucking world just by doing a few little things like that, right? The treating women like shit is stupid. It doesn't do anything. But when you put all three together, you can't differentiate that. So women are more interested in you because you're working out and because you've got a nice haircut, right? The treating women like shit, right, feels like it works because the other two things are what are truly working. Do you see what I mean? And it's like, it feels like on the left, like there isn't really, there's a few people that do a little bit of like left wing, like, you know, men's stuff, but it's very limited. And it feels like a lot of the time people are just averse to making a prescription that involves asking for any individual personal effort on the part of the individual. And it's like, guys, whether you like it or not, the reality is we do live in a society where there's certain expectations, and not breaking your fucking back to get there. If you've got problems and you can't do it, you know, ask for help, whatever. But there's some things you can do to move a bit closer to those expectations to get through a little bit better through life. Do you see what I mean? You're saying to me it's not a left or right issue, but how is it not a left or right issue? We've got the red pill community, which is fucking flourishing, and it's flourished for years. Okay, what equivalent have we got on the left of like men talking about stuff and being able and having like solutions or ideas that are going to help them push forward and move forward? What is there that exists that's equivalent to the red pill on the left? What is there? What is there? There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing there. And I'm not saying we need to fucking do the crazy shit. All we need to do is say, guys, yeah, we understand. Things are tough. Things are tough sometimes for fellas. Here's a couple of things you can do that's going to improve your chances of getting ahead. Okay? Work out a bit, or like, you know, work out a meal plan, or, you know, go and buy some new clothes. Go and get a haircut. Go and speak to a barber and ask what kind of haircut will suit you, right? Go down to the clothes store and go to a clerk and say, hey, I'm interested in buying some clothes. Can you give me any advice on what would look good on me? Like little things like that can make a big difference. You know, just little changes can make such a big difference to your confidence and stuff like that. But it feels like we're so averse to doing that. And then you've got the red pillars, you know, just doing it in an insane way. And giving all this extra advice that's bullshit. Do you see what I mean? You know, like you look at some men that are struggling, and you just think like, there's just a couple of things you can do here that's just gonna you know, it's gonna increase your chances by 10% of achieving something you're trying to achieve, getting a job, getting a date, something like that. And it's not as if you have to put loads of effort in. Sometimes it can be just a haircut. You know, a haircut, or like buying a nice shirt that fits you well, you know, having a fucking wash. Like, I don't know if this is true or not. People keep memeing about it, like Twitch streamers not washing, but apparently some people don't wash themselves every day. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that exists? I mean, look, I get it if listen, I get it if you're not going out and I shower every day myself, but I get if you're having a lazy day and you've got a hangover or whatever and stuff like that. But if you're going out to face the world, yeah, you got to have a fucking shower, like Jesus. Wash your ass. No, you can have long hair as long as it's well maintained. Long, greasy, dirty hair is the problem. Long, clean hair can look good if it's styled correctly. You can have it needs to fit your face shape, but broadly speaking, you can choose from a variety of different hairstyles you might like, but it's just got to suit you and you've got to be well presented. Just being well presented is such a big part of it, You don't even need to dress in a fucking crazily. It's just having a nice shirt to put on if you're going out somewhere, just something as simple as that can make such a big difference. And it's not like you even need to go and buy a fucking really expensive shirt. You can just go and buy something off the rack that's a tailored fit that fits your body, and you're laughing. Yeah, trim your beard, buy better fitting clothes. I don't know. I just think there's little steps that people can take, and it feels like people are just so averse to giving these sort of little recommendations, and it's this over focus on the systemic. And yes, that's important. And this is true too. We need to look at the underlying issues. But on the left, I just think we can be a bit more willing to say, hey, maximize your chances by just doing a few simple things.
That's what it is. You're not coming to the concerns of any of these young men, which, whether you like it or not, Andrew Tate spoke to some degree. Well, why can't they choose a better? There are no better role models. I don't know how many times I've said I get so sick and tired of fucking women just coming out of the woodwork to be like, well, they're better. What role models? Go ahead, point them out. Good luck. I'll wait. Because I've had people send me, and you know what? None of them have any advice that are useful on dating. Most of them have terrible advice, if any, okay? And they have little to no experience, so I don't really care to hear from them. So I want y'all to peep the whole formula. We didn't talk about what men were dealing with for a long time. It led to this. Now someone starts talking about it, you're like, don't speak about it. So now we're going back to the very point. They're like, don't plat for this person. Don't speak with them. Well, it's like, well, people want these issues addressed. No, get somebody else. There's better role models. Okay, so let me ask you, where are all these positive role models that y'all been encouraging this entire time? Where are they? When have they rose to prominence? Why aren't they going viral? If there's so many good ones out there and you guys encourage them.
Okay, listen. I need a photo of a cringe. I can't find one. A cringe lock-in Redditor type. That's what I need right now. I need to show you the difference.
And support them, and then they should be pushed up in these algorithms. How come it's never happened? Can anyone tell me? There's so many positive ones.
Don't look at me.
How come in the last 30 years of my fucking life, I've not seen a single one of these motherfuckers ever promoted on national television or anywhere else? How come no young men have ever gravitated towards these people? Can anybody tell me?
What's this? Sorry, I missed that.
I ask you, where are all these positive role models that y'all been encouraging this entire time? Where are they? When have they rose to prominence? Why aren't they going viral? If there's so many good ones out there and you guys encourage them and support them, and then they should be pushed up in these algorithms, how come it's never happened? Can anyone tell me? There's so many positive ones.
Don't look at me.
How come in the last...
Who's this guy? Who's Derek Jackson?
30 years of my fucking life, I've not seen a single one of these motherfuckers ever promoted on national television or anywhere else. How come no young men have ever gravitated towards these people? Can anybody tell me? I'll wait. Since there's so many, I'll wait. Tell me where these motherfuckers are at.
Oh, we got one.
Who?
Bill Cosby.
So I ask you.
Oh, no.
Right? And this is the more important question. Because get past the ban. The ban is just feel-good bullshit. Okay? This doesn't change anything. How do you get to the real problems, which are the issues that men are facing that they feel are not being talked about? That's what I want to know.
Who puts himself in the... It's boys. They'll be fine. It's funny. It's really funny that they want men to talk. They want men to to say what they got to say. And the minute we do, it's like, we hate. We this and that and the third. We can't have both, people. Like, we can't have both.
Today's video is brought to you by Raycon.
We have the Raycon earbuds. Their new earbuds is more comfortable than
Okay, I don't want to slate on the Raycons. Okay, in fact, listen, I normally I'd watch the advert, but I'm not a fan of Raycons. Okay, so listen.
and replace my thing.
Sometimes you want to just isolate everything out. Well, with the zone in on.
I'm just going to end up slating them.
I'm unbelievably impressed with these Raycon. There's a reason people are saying this. Get 15% off your Raycon purchase.
And tell them to shut the fuck up because they ain't real problems and it's not as bad as whatever. You can't have both. You want to do that, but you can't have both. Like, which is it? You always want men to talk and to open up. We open up about our shit. The other day I was talking and I was triggered and I was talking about.
All right, Derek Jackson talked about how amazing his relationship was, but was cheating on his wife.
You saw the clip, right? And I was tired of being told like that I was not black enough and this and that. It was often I told exactly who the perpetrator is. That was me opening up. That was me opening up and being frank and being real with y'all. Couple of y'all dropped me my DM. There's one particular lady that dropped in my DM. I didn't read the whole message, but whatever. The minute I saw that, I switched. I'm a follower, but I gotta say that I'm a bit disappointed in you. First and foremost, I'm not your dad. Okay? I'm disappointed. You have to understand what the black woman is saying. At that point, that was not the point of my intervention. I told on this sat channel many, many times that I understood. I do understand. That's why most time I shut the fuck up. But I gotta tell that you motherfuckers are the perpetrators sometimes. When you open up, you're being told to shut the fuck up. So how do we solve it? And who's the role model? There's a reason why that guy gets so popular. Like he said, it's not some kind of spell. It ain't magic. You have to ask yourself, okay, why?
You know, people say this stuff. Well, we shouldn't platform these people. You know what my personal take is? I want to hear these people. Yeah. When I listen to Angel, I don't buy into a lot of the stuff he says. I think a lot of that shit's goofy. I think he's kind of, that's me personally. But I want to hear it. You want to know why? Because I'm like, I understand why he is the way that he is, and I'm not with that, and I understand why I'm not. And someone else can look at it and be like, I identify with that, I'm with that, okay? Then the next step beyond that is, we all have a better understanding of what we agree or disagree with. And then somebody else who's a much better role model, quote unquote, apparently you guys have him, can come out and show just as much charisma and be just as drawing, and then we have all these ideas conflicting. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. You want to know why? Because there is no other side. So now they just see this guy get...
Why do you expect leftist politics to have a counterweight to this? Why does the left need to offer dating advice? Okay, you misunderstand me. I'm not talking about, like, dating advice specifically, right? I'm just talking about a space where men have got some level of comfort to like talk about shit they deal with and offer some sort of solution or pointer to where they can go and what they can look to do to maybe improve their circumstance in some way, right? And some of that is going to be kind of individualist perspectives on things you can do, but this is kind of broad advice that anyone can follow, and it is just good, solid advice, you know? Like, you know, work out a bit, you know, wear clothes that fit you well, get a haircut, you know, make sure you shower every day, make sure you've got, not just showering, but when you go out, put an antiperspirant on so you're not sweating all day and you stink by afternoon. Do you see what I mean? And the reason I think it's important is because, I mean, look at the fucking reality that exists. You have got all of these young men, right? How is antiperspirant? Okay, level 3 potato. I think you've got a perfect name because you have the brain processing power of an actual potato, it seems, okay? It's not just talking about politics, okay? The point is that there's young men that feel a bit fucking lost. They don't know what they're doing. They go online to find stuff, okay? And there isn't really anything on the left that's given them anything substantive to address them as a young man with problems, right? Okay? And so they end up going to the right, and the right come along with, hey, here's some little bits of advice you could do, but also treat women like shit. Also, and then they start to layer in the politics. And I'm not even saying you need to do that. I'm not trying to trick people to becoming lefties, right? I just think at the very least, you just need to have a little bit of space where it's like, hey guys, yeah, things can be shit sometimes. Here's a couple of pointers that have helped me in my life though, you know? And I think that you're going to end up in a situation where, I mean, I just don't understand how you could deny that this is something that's worth at least considering. Do you see what I mean? Like, do you not see the pattern of behavior that you see where you get these young fellas that are kind of pivoting towards people like Andrew Tate? Like, why is Andrew Tate so popular? You know? Why is it that Andrew Tate is so popular? What alternative is there on the left for something like that? Do you see what I mean? And I think it is this thing that's happened where over the past sort of 4 years, like 5 years, people have just, they've been disregarded. And, you know, Sean even did a video about this, right? But it was so soy, and he ended up going, and he was prefaced it so much, like it's like he couldn't just do a video where he said, hey, there's a reason people are going in this direction, right? There's a reason people are going in this direction. Okay, here's the thing though, right? Here's the thing. I don't think that you've got a figure that's as substantive and as big as like Andrew Tate. I don't think you've got like a lefty equivalent of that. Right? Trainwrecks. I'm sorry, but Trainwrecks is not a good fucking role model. Are you fucking serious? Okay, that's unfair. I take that back. Trainwrecks is in some ways a fantastic role model in terms of him supporting other people and stuff like that, right? However, there's behavior that he engages in, right? Which I don't think is something that you should role model, right? Like the coke addict, gamba addict shit is not good. Do you know what I mean? And also, is he on the left? I wouldn't really consider him on the left, you know? I think Destiny is like a good role model, okay? I think Destiny's a fairly good role model. Obviously, some of his lifestyle choices, people unfortunately trying to emulate without understanding it, and that's a problem. But, you know, I think he does do a fairly reasonable job of saying, look, open relationships aren't for everyone. But I'm fairly certain that I've heard Destiny kind of like talk about, I don't know, these things, like what you can do as a man to kind of progress forward. I think that's a good thing. I don't think Destiny gives self-help advice, but it's just creating us a little bit of space for guys to have somewhere to go if they're, you know, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying rich equals, okay, I just think you're trolling at this point. But my point is there isn't like an Andrew Tate figure of someone who has got this, you know, there isn't someone like that on the left, and I think that's a shame. And I'm not saying it has to be the same thing. I'm just saying there needs to be a space where people can come and they're not rejected and they're not made to feel foolish for expressing some of this stuff. And they are given at least some individual advice that's broad enough that's going to be of some assistance to them. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Getting bigger and bigger.
But hey, bro, this is the thing. I'm probably not talking about you. Like, you probably got you're subbed to me, so you probably got your life together anyway. I'm talking about over the past 4 years, and this continues to be the case. There are young people who've got problems, and they come to the internet to look for answers, and they end up an Andrew Tate fan, right? Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Okay, I feel like I'm getting some resistance from some people. I feel like I'm making a lot of sense, okay? But because I'm getting a bit of resistance, I'm thinking, am I speaking fucking Spanish here? Am I speaking crazy shit? Okay? Am I speaking crazy shit? Or am I actually making points which most people are going, oh yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Please tell me, if you've got a disagreement with me, state what the disagreement is clearly, because I feel like I'm giving pretty reasonable takes here and I'm getting resistance. And I don't understand why. I think this is a fairly unfucking controversial stance, some uncontroversial perspectives. We could do with, you know, a bit of that fucking, you know, self-help vibe without the fucking cringe, without the scams and all this shit. Just a little space where people could be like, hey guys, yeah, Life's fucking shit sometimes. Here's some stuff that's helped me though. Bam, 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 bam. Right?
No counter voices. And now they want to ban it to make themselves feel better. You didn't offer a healthy solution, right? You didn't say why. You didn't say how we're going to fix the problem. You just said get rid of him, get rid of the figurehead. Now, of course, there's young impressionable people, and they're going to be swayed, and it's going to cause problems. But I would argue these are problems that we have to deal with. These are problems that we have to deal with as a society and confront this issue rather than just trying to ban it outright and not discuss the problem. Because if we're honest, nobody's trying to talk about it. I've watched a bunch of the news coverage on this dude that was happening on mainstream channels. And you know what they were just saying? Oh, he's a misogynist and he's inappropriate for young people. It's like, well, why are the young people gravitating towards him? What are the issues? How come y'all never spend time discussing that? No?
Yes,
Okay.
true, exactly.
I just noticed a pattern. I noticed a pattern. And the reason why I'm telling you...
Okay, yeah, you are just literally a potato then. The alternative to being an Andrew Tate fan is to be a normal person. No need to counterweight it. You have got no idea what you're talking about. You haven't got a fucking clue what's going on, okay? You're a fucking idiot, right? If you don't see the pattern and you don't see what's going on, okay, that's fair enough. But you're the fucking moron here, okay? The idea of, oh, just be a normal person, right? First of all, define what normal is, okay? And second of all, there's a lot of fucking normies that like Andrew Tate. There's a lot of normies that actually like Andrew Tate because he speaks to a so-called normal perspective. And that's the kind of thing we need to look to shift. And we can do that if we've got more people speaking out and giving, you know, a bit more of a liberal lefty spin on some of this stuff. Like, is it really that fucking complicated?
This and you watching, whether you hate him or love him, I don't care. This is going to happen 100 times more. And it's going to be amplified. And let me also say this. When you ban somebody, you know what happens?
You just create a hero.
Because people who want information for themselves, like, why are you guys keeping me from this guy? Let me hear him. And then they're going to listen to a couple of his clips, right? The more tame ones that are allowed to stay online. And be like, this guy makes a lot of sense. You know, when he's talking about the fact that a lot of young men are lonely, like, I get that.
Yes.
Why is this guy banned? You guys are going to create somebody who's pretty much unbeatable.
And now,
So there you go.
it's just weird the way people
Hold up. Didn't they just ban Trump?
Yeah.
Didn't they just ban Trump? Ain't he about to win for a second fucking term?
They try not to make that happen.
But
yeah. You know, the thing that's weird of how you act is you think this guy, this Andrew Tate guy, is a cancer, right? So he's a symptom of a cancer, really. Mm-hmm. By removing him and not addressing the root, the cancer just comes back stronger. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
That's what you're doing. If you just remove the lump without addressing the root, the cancer comes back.
I hear this all the time that deplatforming works. Okay? I hear this all the time that deplatforming works. I am very scared. I think this is something that people say and repeat. I don't know how true this is. I'm very skeptical about this concept that deplatforming works. I think this is like a 2016 meme that has perpetuated for years. You know, kind of like, oh, Lauren Southern fired a flare at a boat. It didn't even happen, right? It's something people just say. It's like a mantra. But like, did deplatforming work with like Nick Fuentes then? Like Nick Fuentes is stronger than ever. Do you know what I mean? Because, and also it depends what you mean by deplatforming, because I'm presuming you're talking about big tech bans, because we're talking about this, right? But clearly they don't work. Nick Fuentes has set up a whole fucking platform where people who have been deplatformed can go now. Do you see what I mean? So I'm very skeptical about this, and I never really seem to have much substantial evidence, current evidence, that deplatforming is actually, you know, a good strategy when it comes to dealing with some of these issues. Sometimes it's probably necessary in extreme circumstances, right? But it should be legal, rare. What's the thing for abortion? It needs to be like abortion, basically, okay?
Back stronger. You're not solving the issue. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. If I have a recurring pain, why do you want to address that? You have other functioning body parts in your body. That's what you're doing. That's you. That's you. You have other places that are working in your body. You're good. It don't work like that. Mm-hmm. If I have an issue, I have to address the issue.
Okay, Donald Trump is a terrible example, right? Because guess what? Guess what happens? Donald Trump says something. Guess where I read about that? Guess where I see what Donald Trump has said about the latest thing that's happened? Where do you think I see that? On fucking Twitter. I go onto Twitter, okay, and I check it like a businessman would do the newspaper, and I'm scrolling through. It's, oh, Trump said something stupid again. He's supposed to be fucking banned, but I'm still hearing his opinions on Twitter. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's fucking foolish.
And sometimes to address the issue and to fix the issue, you have to comprehend it. If you don't understand it and you just remove it, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But that's just me. So I understand why he's banned. I just went on the technical tournament, right? But I understand the fact that that's not how you solve the situation. But I just didn't want to repeat myself from other videos that we did.
Yeah. Well, listen, let us know what you guys think. Do you guys agree or disagree? We want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think it's a good thing? Do you think it's going to lead to a better world? Or do you think it's just more of the same? I want to hear from you.
You know what's going to happen?
Anyway, it just kind of cut off, didn't it? I don't know, guys. I think...
This morning, Andrew Tate...
Wait, hang on. There was a clip I saw I wanted to watch. It's Andrew Tate talking about the ban.
Tried to log in Instagram a couple hours ago. It wouldn't let me. I have good people in the case. I trust due process with Instagram. I'm actually quite understanding of their position. I do understand it very, very well. I'm not angry at them in any regard. It's not a big loss for me. It's not something I use too often. But I do understand their position because we're actually living in a world now where it's kind of strange. This is an unprecedented period of human history. And we have internet sensationalism, global sensationalism on a scale which has never happened before. And also we have the ability to edit things so quickly, right? So you can say something on a stream and they can remove all context, or you can say something and they can change the tone of your voice, or you can say something.
It's already happened to me many times, yes.
Exactly. And then what they can do is...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, he's coming across, like, super fucking reasonable. He's coming across so fucking reasonable. It's like, this is such a bad decision. This is so stupid.
They can throw that in front of a hate mob, and then internet sensationalism can take control, and people can start to believe in narratives which are false, and then people have to take some kind of action against that. So I understand all these things. I understand that with great power and great influence comes great responsibility. And I'm very understanding of the situation. I think that I'm a strongly religious man. I believe that God will prevail, the truth will prevail.
Right.
The one thing that's a little bit annoying, I mean, because a lot of people have been insulting me for a long time on all platforms. And that's fine. It really doesn't bother me because I'm an extremely strong person. I know that some people would be very, very uncomfortable in my position. Not many people can sleep at night with the kind of death threats I've been getting. But for me, it's been fine, right?
You're getting death threats?
Oh, yeah. And this is the thing that's crazy, right? So I would get 10 to 20,000 death threats a day.
What?
Via Instagram.
Via Instagram.
And they would take no action, even if I reported them. However, they've now decided I'm the danger. And even the people who were supporting me, I was crazy, yeah. I was saying, look, if you're going to support me in public, if you're going to discuss things in comments, please do it respectfully, because hate on hate, it ain't going to get.
I have a question.
Right?
The guy saying in the DMs that are going to kill you. Be honest. If they saw you in person, you think they'd keep that same energy?
I know, of course not. But
Fortnite,
it's just about the fact that there's a lot of hate around on the internet, and I don't believe that hate versus hate is going to win.
So Andrew, what I've learned on the internet now, it's a new generation of the internet. The internet is different now, and whatever you say that is hateful gets more likes, more clicks, and it gets more attention. Yeah. Because listen, you probably get thousands of comments that are showing love and praisal, right? But the ones that stick out the most are the hate ones. The ones that are like, he's really saying that shit. So that's why they do it. They do it because they want the clicks, they want the attention, they want the likes. That's really why they do it.
Yeah, and it's really interesting about how it's going to shape the world, right? Because, like I said, with great power comes great responsibility. Now I have millions and millions of people who are my fans. And I was literally teaching them and telling them on Instagram 3 days ago, if you want to defend me, then stick up for me in a respectful way. Even if they're insulting me or threatening my life, do it in a respectful way, because just arguing back and forth in a bitter, immature, hate-on-hate way isn't going to work. Show that if you're a fan of Andrew Tate, you're a respectful person. And I was trying to teach respect to all these millions of young men. And now, who knows where they're going to go, right? And you're right. It's kind of crazy where the internet has all these black holes of pure degeneracy or hatred, because that's what gets the most views, and it's a shame.
It does. Now, I want to ask you a question. Let me move on to the next thing. Andrew.
Sure. Like, I hope people realize what a big mistake this is. And compare this to how flustered he was getting when Hassan was putting a bit of pressure on him. Do you know what I mean? This is my point. This is my whole fucking point, right? Like, you're better off fucking having a chat to the guy or some shit, or at least putting out an alternative narrative or an alternative story than just trying to, you know, ban him. It's only a mistake because he's not on your stream, an actual good stream. And I think what Abram Preach said is true. You've got to remove yourself from your views about Andrew Tate and look at this more broadly, okay? Because even if you fucking despise Andrew Tate, you know, I'm not a fucking fan of Andrew Tate at all. I think he's a fucking, you know, dickhead. I just think there's a broader issue at play here. And even if you don't want to consider that broader issue, you've got to look at the actual reality of what's happening with this, okay? And I think the reality of it is that he is going to come out of this smelling like roses. And you're going to have a bunch of fucking soy fucking leftoid fucks going, oh, this is so based. No, it's not. This is terrible from whichever angle you look at it. From the big tech angle, from the actual reality of what's happening angle, okay? None of it comes out good just because fucking Andrew Tate's been banned from these platforms. This is a fucking stupid, unforced error, completely unnecessary, because a bunch of fucking hall monitors on Twitter take it upon themselves to do something about this fucking speech or whatever. They put Meta in a corner, and Meta have gone, oh shit, well, he's broken that policy. We're not going to explain why, but he has, and he's banned. Maybe they will, I don't know, but as it stands, they've not. So, stupid decision, terrible shit. I've said all I've got to say about this. Okay? There we go. Now I need to play Fortnite for 2 hours.